You don't have a lag, do you? And your
I
shit
think
make me
so.
nervous, bro. Golly, Mary, what up?
What's up? What's up? What's up? How you doing
You,
today, Ham?
you know how your internet is. Blink twice. I just want to make sure your shit on time. Alright, cool.
That's
What's
my
good?
fault, but I just asked you how you doing.
Oh yeah, man. I'm doing the right thing. I seen you yesterday. Let me see that shirt though.
Oh, that's right, y'all.
Like that.
Shit like that. Shit like that. Y'all see that?
Shit like that. Shit like that.
No doubt, no doubt. Q is good.
Ain't shit sitting here with the this might be risky
Word,
tea.
word. I like your outfit too.
You feel me? Got the little sports jacket joint, you know what I mean?
Indeed. Let me get some more opinions. Mr. White, what do you think about people mentioning well, I want to save this one for Q. This question though, about the mental health and mental issues. Do you feel like that what do you think the impact of when we blame it on that?
I think it's an excuse. I really think it is definitely an excuse because we all struggle mentally in some way, shape, or form. And then you have people who struggle with different diagnoses, but they don't take it to that extreme. So I really think that's just an excuse that people use, kind of like scapegoat. You know what I'm saying? But with the guns thing, I feel like you can have whatever type of gun you want to have too. Right. So I'm not for telling people you can't have an assault rifle. So like for me, eventually I'm gonna be locked and loaded, right? Because the reason why we have that right is to protect ourselves from the government. Things are changing, right? And then it's just a matter of time before they get to a place where you got to be able to take out a lot of people. So do I think they need to do something differently? Yes. Do I know what that is? No. But me personally, especially with having all girls, I would love to be ready to take out whoever, however many, at the drop of a dime. So I don't think that should be hindered because you have a few people who are using it for the wrong purpose. You on mute, man.
Yeah. So somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that automatic assault rifles are banned. So I think these are semi-automatic assault rifles that they're using. And I think there may be like certain brands, magazine capacities, right, that can change the game. But to Alex's point, those guns do hold more bullets than, especially a revolver, right? Most of them are 6 shots. But to Adrian's point, if you're trying to protect yourself from getting from the government, does it really matter what type of gun you have?
No.
I could be wrong, but I think they got tanks, Adrian.
Yeah. And helicopters and all that.
And then like well-trained Navy SEAls
Yeah.
that
Trained
bring
us
a
out.
knife to a gunfight.
I got daughters, man. I'm thinking about anything. People running up in here. I'm thinking about anything.
Yeah.
And I think too, like the majority of people are not using it incorrectly either.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you find that balance?
So do you remember the guy that fell all over? He was trying to catch a fly ball, and he fell over the what's it called? The railing. I think he was in Boston. So then if you notice, the next year, every single stadium had those nets to catch people because it only take one life, right? Like, so are you saying that those lives, it need to be, how many lives it need to be taken for us to consider making changes?
I don't think that's the issue though. I think if it's the school, we need to do things around the school to protect the kids, right? And then, so you can't have people to where, you know, we can be more proactive and be forward thinking to think, okay, how might these people try to attack the masses? But a lot of it is going to be, we just have to respond once it kind of happens.
Okay. Q, did you see where they were blaming it on you have eccentric thought. So on testosterone, did you see that? The congresswoman, her name is Mary, you know, she from the Midwest, a white lady. So her name probably Mary Jo or Mary Jane, one of those. There's only one or two names they use. So she blamed it on like the testosterone levels, right? Because she was transitioning.
Yeah.
Could have caused like a break, which causes to happen. What you think?
I think that's bullshit. I actually truly believe, and this is from just me doing a little bit of research on female serial killers.
Yeah.
And I think that when women kill, especially multiple people for whatever reason, it's usually thought out. It's usually premeditated.
Okay.
And I think there was some evidence of that as well, that this was premeditated on her part. And I don't think that, provided the obvious evidence that she was a student there at one time, that that would be far-fetched. That you know, she didn't think about that. She didn't have somebody in mind, or just some type of anger towards that establishment. But I don't believe that it had shit to do with no fucking pills or transitional aspects to her life, or her life. That's bullshit.
Got you. Chief, what do you think about the protests that were happening about LGBTQIA plus rights after this transpired?
I mean, I kind of agree with Love was saying, like, it's just poor timing. Like, you have every right to advocate for yourself and your people, but it was just terrible timing, bro. Awful timing.
Yeah. I didn't quite understand. It seems selfish.
I'd say so. But to Q's point, when she was talking about, I mean, not slightly off the question, but when she was talking about how just premeditated, like, obviously we all know it's messed up, and I understand, and I get it. Even if it's premeditated, like, go in there and get the person that did you wrong. If that's the case, if you're thinking about something, like, go get the person who has you in this mental space. Why these babies though? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's tough for me because I'm in education. I have kids who are in elementary school too, so now it's even more of like an angry thing for me, because it's just like, I can't even imagine, bro. I can't imagine it.
Being in education, what is the protocol? I know, is it like get under the desk as though it was an earthquake?
So as unfortunate it is, we do have like these type of trainings, and like police officers sometimes walk through the building and shoot like air shots, and just till you hear the noise and we go. But it's, you barricade yourself, you barricade the doors. Everybody's in one corner. We're low, they're stacked behind desks and whatnot. There are actually some classrooms now. I saw a video the other day. They have like retractable bulletproof rooms in the classroom. Like, it folds up against the wall and you pull it open. It's like a L shape, and you just pull it open. It locks in, and all the kids going in the room is bulletproof. And that's unfortunate that we have to do that in a classroom. But yeah, it might be like a 10 by 10 space, but you literally just pull the door. I'll send you the link. You pull the door, and it forms a square. Everybody's in there, lock the door, and it's a bulletproof room. But it's sad that we have to have that in school.
Yeah, and we got to pay for that. You know, it might be worth it. But
I wonder if that creates a little bit of trauma in kids with the school resource officers blowing air guns. Like, unless it's like a fire drill, like we're gonna have a fire drill today at 11 a.m. So is it like we're gonna have a drill of an officer coming through and popping off air rifles? It's definitely, it's a plan. It's excuse me, it's a planned lockdown. So we plan it, we strategize it, and it happens. But it's a planned lockdown. That hasn't happened in my building, but I've seen it done in different places. But we have planned lockdowns all the time. But even in lockdowns happen for a shooting that happened down the street, nothing to do with the school. We just lock it down to keep the kids safe. We don't want nobody in and out, no traffic. So, and parents, you know, we had lockdowns, I remember 3 times in a row, and parents were complaining about that. But it's like, yo, would you rather us not lock the school down and something potentially happen to your kids? Like, there was no danger or no threat to the school, but we just had to take precautions. And it's unfortunate, but you know, it's good practice for situations like this.
Word. Damn. Chef, what's your take on the incident? And AW said, I think somebody said, go get the person that you are after. She said she took out the head of the school, which doesn't negate the children, right? If she was 28 and this is elementary school, when did she go there? 25 to 20 years ago?
Yeah, about 20 years. That's crazy. Yeah.
What's your take on this, Chef?
I think this is definitely agenda-based, just considering what this looks like over the years. Like Chief said, like, why the focus on schools, right? You have, and I'm not advocating for this shit at all, but you have other public spaces. Like, why is it always schools, right? There's almost a playbook being played out, right? These people are deranged, right? They're almost exclusively white, right? So there's this homogenous idea that there's only this particular group of people. And then what's more popular right now than the alphabet people. You know what I'm saying? Like, how interesting is it that this person identifies as this and is able to do these type of things, right? So I'm low key a conspiracy theorist when it comes to these type of things. So I'm looking at it like, and I'm just putting questions out there. Why is it that this particular person with this particular branding decides to come back to a school, elementary school at that? Like, you're telling me that you've harbored these type of feelings for 20 plus years, and the best solution that you came up with is to shoot babies?
Hey, real
Like,
quick,
it just doesn't add up.
real quick. Just for curiosity's sake, I've heard alphabet people before, and it was from a comedian. I thought, it was funny at the time, but is that technically like offensive to the LGBT community, or is that like what they consider themselves?
I'm not trying to learn. They pop up with a letter every other week. I mean,
yes,
everything is offensive to that community.
I'm not trying to
Everything.
be political correct around that. Like, I think alphabet makes more sense. If like y'all gonna keep adding letters, like, let's just say alphabet.
Yeah, I know that. I think it is still LGBTQIA+.
Yes, the plus. Yeah, I think that means they're going to end after the A.
No, numbers coming next.
The numbers coming next.
Well, somebody said the P's coming.
I've been saying that for years.
Go ahead, Alex.
Just going back to like the guns. I saw that she purchased 5 or 6 different guns from different locations.
Mm-hmm.
Is there not a system that flags, or like, I think like if I'm a gun store owner and someone is coming in and they're purchasing massive rounds, and that's like, is there any type of flag that goes off? Like,
this Tennessee, right? Different stroke. Depends where you at, and it might be just 5 or 6 stores because they ain't had a gun she want. It's like shopping for Jordans. Right, so I don't, we look at it like it's a gun, but if she's just a gun enthusiast, right, they go get the gun forever it is, right? Like the cat's waiting in line. I wonder why. Do you think our community is hypocritical? Because I don't know if we react as harshly with all the killings and shootings that happen in our neighborhoods. Why is this so much different than that mass killing and shooting that happens? If I just use a generic place like Chicago,
you got to go back to the way that the demographic is. This is a white woman, identifies as transgender, and everything that comes with that is triggering left and right? And who has the most political power right now? That group. That's why they felt they needed to protest to get ahead of this shit, because they know people largely don't rock with this, alternative anything lifestyle, right? However they say it in public, but they have to jump on. It's more of a PR move. So like, in terms of our people, it's fucked up, but we're desensitized to it. Unfortunately, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're very desensitized, and like, it's not a healthy thing whatsoever. But you got to consider, like, when we see these things, like, like, oh my God, this is horrible, this is sad. But we'll go right back to living life, because it's like, oh, that's just another day, unfortunately, for Black people.
Okay. Q, final thought on this? Unless anybody else had anything pressing?
Yeah, I think there's something to the conspiracy theory that Mary had mentioned, and also some of the stuff that Eddy was talking about. And I don't think that we should be completely blind to that. I mean, you think of any big news story, and there's always all these intricate pieces that are missing, that we're like, well, why didn't they do this and why didn't they do that? These kids that done been kidnapped for years, and they're like, yeah, the police went to the house 7 times prior to. You're like, how the fuck did they miss that? I think there's a bigger agenda with a lot of this shit. And I think that some of those moving pieces that we can't quite wrap our heads around, there's something bigger to it than to Alex's point about, how much she was purchasing and stuff.
Interesting. Like, share, subscribe. God bless the dead. Yeah, man. It's interesting. What she brought out was a good point. I think you're 100% accurate, where it's saddening and it's traumatizing, but it's necessary, right? Because all it takes is one kid, right? You got Sandy Hook, right? So, crazy.